Yesterday I was saying that I expect a bounce in AMC, and that did not happen today. Nope, instead we've got this motive wave and it continues to head lower, and I believe that you'll actually find a channel within today's 1 minute chart if you look for it. It's possible that this is a fifth wave extension heading down, and that is tremendous. I don't know where it'll stop. It's hard to say with the way that AMC's equity value is now divided between APE and AMC. It could be that those two symbols are trying to find the same price. After all, they have the same float and they represent the equity in the same company. So that logic makes sense to me. I don't know if that will actually occur or not. When I look at APE, I see that it's possible we could find a whole nother leg heading lower. Brutal, just brutal stuff. And I think that AMC could bounce, but as long as it fails to, it's just falling. It's just falling. It's horrible. I know. The markets in general, to me, are starting to show signs of fear. I think very possibly in the near future, we're going to receive a signal. And that might be a bullish signal and it might be a bearish signal. But I think by the end of this week, we're going to have a much clearer idea of which way the market is going to go in general. Perhaps it takes till Monday morning to get that sorted out. However, be prepared for anything. The way I see bonds moving, the precious metals, the dollar, and the SPX, it's got me a little worried. I'm feeling pretty bearish, and it's got me a little concerned. I am actually a little concerned. Right now, StockGet's feeling bullish in the Discord, talking about SPY making a big push higher. That's very, very possible. It's very possible. But I don't see any kind of sign on the chart that such a move is ready to be made yet. I think most people have identified this descending broadening wedge on SPY, and we do find ourselves dipping off of the upper trend line there, and we could form a partial decline, but we're just really not there yet. So without further ado, let's hop right into the charts and get into the analysis. I have SPY on top left, the dollar strength index, Dixie, top right, the fear index, VIX, bottom left, and gold futures, bottom right, and that symbol's /GC. Let's go ahead and run through this really quickly. I was saying yesterday that I expected to find a test of the level 408 right here, and we didn't get that. Instead, we formed a chart pattern, which I have actually recently identified on SPY, and that chart pattern is what produced the 431 price target and where I called the top of this first push in this everything rally. The market is currently in retracement heading lower. How much lower is yet to be known. However, I am going to be doing some analysis based on the lower high and the lower low that we saw today. So you have a gap here between the close and open from not today and yesterday, but Friday and Monday, and then we have a lower high and a lower low. So I'm going to be doing analysis on a gap 2H pattern. You can go on to thepatternSite.com, that's Bulkowski's website, and look up that pattern yourself and tell me what you get when you do the price target. It's called thepatternSite.com. So go there, look up gap 2H, and follow Bulkowski's instructions and tell me in the comments what's the price target for such pattern. It is going to be pretty easy to confirm the pattern because to break out to the downside will only take another tiny little drop down to that 61.8% retracement level. So I'm going to be doing that analysis myself in my Discord server in the private channel. If you want access to that private channel where I dump all of these charts, you need to hit join below. It's $1.99 a month. It's called Capavision. And I also give you a weekly video, and it's much better. I'm on the desktop, and the analysis is great. I go on for 45 minutes, in-depth chart pattern, Elliott wave analysis. I talk about the big picture, and that analysis proves to be valuable with time. Let's move on. Talk about DXY. In Capavision, I do have a larger chart pattern that specifically identifies what that trend line is, and it is the bottom trend line of a corrective pattern. And so to see the price coming up off of here and now forming a pipe top, that's where you've got two bars of about equal height at about equal bottom and high, you know, those lows are the same. The idea here is that they look like pipes, like Mario Brother pipes, right? Little green pipe coming up. So the idea here is that this forms a topping pattern, and if the price can close below the lowest low of these two candles here, then there is a top, and the target will be somewhere lower. I'm not sure where, but it's possible that this could be the beginning of a reversal, in which case we're going to be looking for a partial rise in this larger pattern on Dixie. If that's true, then boom, we're going to look for a downward breakout and a push lower to at least 105, and that's a good place to start. At that 105 level, I would expect to bounce and to pull back into the pattern, and then maybe another push lower. It has yet to be seen, so it's very speculative. I think right now what we're going to be looking for is a confirmation of pipe tops on Dixie, and then a confirmation of the gap 2H on SPY, and those two things may correlate. At the same time, happening concurrently, we have VIX, the fear index, coming out of this big downtrend. This was a very powerful downtrend. And what this did is this helped the stock market, or this is an expression of the stock market finding support, feeling more comfortable, people re-entering the market perhaps, maybe not. Volume, after all, has been very low. And it did bottom and bounce. And this means that a little more uncertainty is coming into the market, which is naturally bad for bulls and bodes bearishly. I did correctly forecast the jump from this low to this trend line right here very accurately, and you can go back and watch my old videos. I encourage people to do that. Go back and watch my old videos. Try me. Really. Go back. Watch the old videos. Did I do a good job? How did that analysis age? I want to say 3/4 of my analysis, if not more, ages very well. After all, I did forecast the 70% decline in AMC before it happened, and I didn't fall for any of the bull traps that occurred between that $45 mark and $9.70. Called every single one of them out, nailed it, traded to the downside because people said, hey, if you think it's going to go down, short it. And I said, fine, I'll buy a long put because I can't short in a cash account. Anyway, enough of that, right? Cap, stop being an ass. So let's talk about VIX. It came up and it pushed up a little higher than I thought it would, and now we have this big tail on today's candle. So looks like VIX wants to move higher. There are two trend lines through here. One of these is an external trend line, which means that it's drawn without cutting through the price at a certain point in history. And the second is an internal trend line, which means that it does cut through the price. I find that when you make both lines and they're almost parallel like this, that if the price can push up into one and find support, it typically goes to the top of the other. And there might even be some bouncing around through here. So VIX looks like it wants to go up still, which means gap 2H would be confirmed, heading lower, and maybe the dollar drops concurrently. Very curious, right? Let's see here. Talking about gold futures, you're going to see this nice big green candle coming up and closing within this gap that we saw between Friday and Monday. This, to me, I think is the beginning of a reversal, a bullish reversal in the larger ABC measured move up from a big corrective, or it's going to be a big corrective push up after a big motive wave dump down. That being said, I am looking for, the price target's actually pretty good. Let me get that off of there. Basically, you're going to measure the height of this first run, and you're just going to add it to the low back here. And so we'd be looking for, I'm not sure what the price target is, but we would be confirming that measured move up when we find a new high above that point A. So there's still a long way to go before we can actually be really bullish here, but I suspect that this A will become a motive wave 1, that this low down here will be the bottom of wave 2, and we're looking for a big wave 3. Again, if the dollar drops big time, I expect gold to go up, I expect markets to go down, and I expect VIX to go up. That has been the analysis I've been following for the last week, and it's been pretty accurate. And we do have data coming out on Thursday and Powell speaking on Friday, which could move the markets in those directions. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to APE. This is the 1 minute chart. This is just the whole day we had today, and I charted out this pennant. It's kind of like a triangle. I think that what we're looking for is it's corrective wave 2. I originally had this charted and had the breakout forming right here, right? So I called this point E, I think it was D and E, and I thought that was a downward breakout, but the price pushed up higher and past this peak, which is important. So then I just extended the pattern out, and now it looks like we are beating that 1, 2, 3 trend reversal out of the bottom side of that pattern. This red line, this is the this connects the high of APE from yesterday to the high we had today prior to this bump here. I'm thinking that this trend line probably needs to move up a little bit, so it'll reflect what the trend line will look like when a new low is established. Right now, there is neither a true uptrend or downtrend in APE. It is in consolidation after the initial dump. To see a corrective move down like this, like a big zigzag, that would make the most sense in this pattern. I believe we are currently in the second wave here, and that is this triangle we're looking at. And of course, this is a little more exaggerated, the incline I've drawn, but that's where I believe we are in APE, and we are looking for a massive push down. Looking at AMC on the 15-minute time frame, this is yesterday and today. Robert Lindelof, I said I'd put you on my charts, and so here you are. I think that I did put you on the charts, but that the price dropped so much that you just weren't on the screen anymore, so I made sure to move you down. There you go. There's your little shout out. If you're an old-time follower, you know you can just comment first, and if you are first to comment, then I'll put you on the charts. No big deal. It's cool. It's fun. So here we go. What's going on? I thought we'd see a bounce, and we didn't. Instead, we're getting a continuation of this downtrend, and there is a channel through here. There really is. I think there is. It does look like there might be some support towards that 970 level, which is an old level of technical resistance. That was the bottom I called. If you go back and watch my videos, look at the video, I think it's like the third or fourth video. That was a Thursday we hit that 970 mark, and the Sunday prior I called exactly how the price was going to fall, and that we'd get a sub 10 target, and boom, I nailed that. At the same time, I was doing this big day trading project. It was really cool. So I might even put a playlist together about that day trading project, because that was revelatory. In fact, I might help people run through that, because it revealed a lot about myself. I think everyone could benefit from such a process. So go back, watch the videos. I'm serious. Go back, watch my old videos. RSI here is just looking really oversold. Look at that. And this is how the RSI works. The price does not lead the RSI. The RSI reflects the price. So the price is losing a percentage gain between each of these candles closes to such a degree that there's no increase in the EMA. Or very, very subtle increase in the EMA. It's just nuts. So I don't know when this is going to end, but when it does end, I do expect a move higher. I don't think it'll be the explosive rally that people want. It may be that the price starts a long sideways grind, and that seems more likely to me than anything else. Looking at PURA, this is a penny stock, cannabis stock. I love it. It does trade on the over-the-counter. If your broker does not provide you with the ability to trade over-the-counter, whoops, you should perhaps find a broker that does, because I'm going to be honest, if your broker doesn't provide you with over-the-counter services, then your broker probably is just making money on payment for order flow. I recently saw an article on Yahoo Finance, I shared it in the Discord, and it was about a group of people that did a study. They found that there was a $34 billion, approximate $34 billion cost to retail traders to trade through their brokers, and that has a lot to do with payment for order flow. So there's a $34 billion industry for retail trading, because guess what? They don't have to give you the best price when you hit market order. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. So when I see social media being filled with all of this hype and FOMO and FUD about getting in on the latest, meme stock and not missing the big short squeeze of a lifetime, it really makes me think that social media is being made to create a market for these retail brokers to rope in the public to spend money and start brokerage accounts, because they make money doing that. It's no different than the fashion industry, where you come out with a new product and you get someone famous to wear it, and then everyone wants to wear it. It's the same thing. It's influencing. And you can look up Edward Brenet's book called Propaganda. I can't remember when he wrote it. It's like a century old at this point, but he basically goes in and talks about public relations and how public opinion and public ideas can be, I want to say, molded into beneficial forms for those who have something to sell. You have a product, well, first you've got to get people to want it, right? Sometimes you have to make that market. And if that market is, I don't know, created through legislation, that's one thing. Like, oh, you have to have car insurance to drive in this state. Well, guess what? Now the car insurance market just got way bigger because everyone needs it. So legislation is one way to do that. Another way to do that is through popularity And I think that's what we're seeing here. Anyway, so that's my spiel on that. If you don't have a broker that's going to give you over-the-counter services, then maybe you should find one. Otherwise, you might miss some opportunities too. So PURA is a cannabis company, and I think what's really important to note here is that this is probably an impulse wave through here. I'm going to call it wave 1, and right now we seem to be retracing through wave 2. The RSI being at basically exactly 50 tells me that there's probably support right there. And when I do a little analysis, I think maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe that's wave 1. Wave 2 is kind of flat. 3, let's see, that'd be starting wave 5. So we kind of peaked out here at 5, and now we're finding support kind of at that wave 4 in the middle of that first motive wave. So from here, what we're looking for in PURA is a sign of strength, pushing out higher and setting a new high. If we do find PURA dropping, then I would just expect it to try not find support until way down here at 2400ths. I gotta learn how to say that stuff. But look at this volume. There's a lot of volume here, which I like. I particularly like to see the RSI going extremely overbought. This is fantastic. It's now dropping, but again, if it turns up at 50, that's going to be a sign of strength. So pipe bottoms would be ideal, but it might take a while. TNX, this is the 10-year treasury yield. Again, in Capavision, I have a chart that shows a pattern. It shows where we're at in the pattern, and what I'm looking at right now is, I think what TNX is trying to do is form a head and shoulders bottom, and that's what I'm showing right here with these two lines was the formation of that right shoulder. I did at this point in time, that's when I drew these lines, and you can see that I got the approximate level right of this peak, and so now I'm going to be looking for this second trend line I drew to be coming in. And you can see how much longer these things take than I draw them, right? So it could be like even further out. It could be down here. But I expect bond rates to be dropping. And the reason I expect bond rates to drop is because this retracement is going to generate some flight to safety. It's very possible that people want their money in bonds as equities become less and less reliable. So there's lots to look at there. I'm going to be getting into bonds more and trying to understand the bond market and adding that to my analysis. That's me making my video. I typically slide over one too many, so that means I've come to the end of my video. Remember, you can sign up for Capavision. If you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord. Stay safe. You're responsible for your own trades. Happy trading.